And now it comes to a little bit more critical, or I learned that we do not call it problems, challenging substrates when we got some moisture, when we got weak subfloor. Therefore, you cannot only use a normal dispersion primer, because a normal dispersion primer will only bind the last dust, create the same absorbency for the leveling compound. That's almost everything that a primer or a normal dispersion-based primer will do. Not more, not less. Anything else is not really true. Whoa, that's really hard not to use bad words. Really have to be focused on that. So, but if you got a challenging subfloor, like humidity, which is mostly the biggest challenge, and also weak subfloor, you should have in mind that you don't have to use two-component products or even epoxy bad products. Why? Because it's stupid to do it if it's not needed. PU280, it's a one-component product. No mixing and no waste at the same time, because this is also a big disadvantage in two-component products. After you have mixed them, if you don't use it, you throw it away, because the chemical reaction is done and then you cannot use it again. You can, I don't want to recommend to drink it, but it's an EC1 Plus product, like all the products we will speak this day. EC1 Plus product means also that they will definitely also fulfill, I don't know, BREEAM certification from the UK, as well as LEED certification from the US. So coming from California, they are very strict when it comes to any kind of environmental regulation. The consumption, it's also quite interesting, especially comparing to some different epoxy. It is 150, maybe 200 grams per square meter, depending on, for sure on the absorbency, if you use it like a normal primer or to solidify the subfloor if it's weak. For moisture barrier, you have to apply 2 coats, and means in total 350 grams, which is still definitely less than a lot of other products. The nice thing on that is also the curing time, because it's a half an hour to 45 minutes max per coat, which saves simply time. And like everywhere, I bet also here in South Africa, time still is money. And you don't have to come the next day to put a second coat or something like that. And I did not even mention right now, the PU280 will block moisture up to 98% RH, 6% by CM, and like we figure out later or this morning, around more or less the same 6% by Tramex. This is what you mostly use here for moisture measurement, correct? Okay, cool.
Alex, I was asked a question earlier after our first session, where when you take your initial moisture read and then you apply your 3003, if there's any doubts, before throwing the screen down, the next protocol would be to go to PU to put that down. Can one take another moisture reading on top of that? And if so, what would the reflection be?
So if you apply 3003, the moisture reading will be the same like before, because it's simply it's nothing blocking or something like that. So if before you apply 3003, you should be sure that there is no moisture. And if you measure and you see that there is moisture inside, put the 3003 by side, because this won't be the right product, because you will still have the humidity underneath. And then you have to switch to the PU280, because you figure out there is humidity, and humidity have to be blocked first. It sounds like Donald Trump, America first, but really humidity have to be blocked first. Don't go crazy things like, and I know this, that people apply leveling compound and then they go on top on the leveling compound to block the moisture. This is definitely the wrong way and would be destroyed later on. Possibly it will work for a couple of days, and in the moment when you install, and especially the dense products like LVT or even worse, vinyl sheet, you will see what will happen. Because the humidity still wants to go out. First, PU280 will block it. If you got a good leveling compound, it will deal for a bit longer with the humidity, a good cement-based one, and then it will be destroyed. Because the humidity won't go through the PU280, and even if it will go through, then it will be blocked by the PVC covering that you put on top, and then good luck with this result. because then the only answer is take everything out, down to the screed, and start again the preparation. And this is exactly, it's a good question because you have to have this in mind. It is every time, a wood floor installation, it's also, dangerous is the wrong word, but challenging if you have humidity. But wood, at least it's a hydrophobic product. That means can take humidity and give it back away. A dense product like a vinyl sheet, it is dense. If humidity comes from underneath, it will be destroyed. That's why block the moisture first. And then think about what to do. Using the PU280, it is easy. There is no mixing. You can use it. I recommend use it out of the bucket or use it out of something. Don't pour it on the floor because you will simply waste material and it's not needed. It's good for me, but it's not good for you and not for the customer at the end if the consumption is 3 times more than it needs to be. And also for the product, very important, less is really more. Don't have in mind like some epoxy systems that for some epoxy system you need actually a layer of 2, 3, 4 millimeters. This is something you do not need. And that anyway, it is almost impossible to create, but I knew that some people did it already, create a film of PU280. Because the really big difference, PU280 will penetrate into the capillaries of the screed and it will block the moisture there. In the same token, they will also solidify on that way because it really goes inside, blocks the moisture in the capillaries and also connects, if you want it like that, the screed molecules better together to get also a harder screed prior doing the next step. So once again, everybody is highly invited to test it. I recommend mix or shake the PU before you apply just to make sure that the pigments are all over where they have to be, just to see better the color and where you already applied or not. And because there is no, dangerous things inside, I would recommend use some gloves just because it will be, after a while, quite heavy to clean them from your fingers, especially if it starts curing. That's also another recommendation. Make sure when you are using the PU280, don't mess around with especially white window frames or white doors or stuff like that. Because correct skirtings, put some tape or simply take care from beginning. As long as it's humid and not cured, you can clean it quite good. But if it starts really curing, it will be more than a challenge. And also, most important thing, don't mix it because it's not needed. The consumption is really 150 grams per square meter, which is, I don't want to say nothing, but put it, or like also have in mind also the view of point of insurance. You don't know if under this tiles is humidity or not. What are you doing? For sure, you have to clarify this with the customer because they have to pay for it. But if you explain, and I know now people say, but this is in another way in South Africa. Yes, it is, but just explain them and scare them what will happen if we do not do this. Even if they say, yeah, but it's on you. No, it's not on me because I told you, and we have to take care of that. And now I know that people say, yeah, but this is South Africa. No, I hear this from all over the world. This is here, and this is here, and this is here. You have to know what you are talking to them, and then it will work.
Alex?
Yes, sir?
A lot of installers like to take it that extra mile to try and stretch that bottle. Would you tell everybody what happens when you add water and close it and leave it for a while?
No, I cannot because I cannot use the words that the guy in technical department told me when he called me. No. Don't mix it with water. Very important. PU280 will cure at least by humidity out of the atmosphere and if it's a humid subfloor out of the screed. If you mix it with water, it will simply expand. And if something wants to expand, but it cannot because you put it in the canister and you mix it one by one, there is a logical thing what will happen that it will, I don't want to call it explode, but it will expand very strong, to say it like that. And I don't use the bad words. And when I was in technical department and he called me like really with bad words on the phone and I said, what the hell is going on? I don't know. I never heard an issue about PU280. So expect the one that they mess around with window frames. Yeah, your product, the worst words that I'm allowed to use. I say, okay, what did you do? So I mix it like every time with water. And then it began to be a party because I said, I know, it's not the product's problem, it was his, because he did it every time like that. I hate these words, really. I know sometimes I do not get more friends, especially when the people are older, when they say, yeah, we did this the whole time like that. No, you did not. You did it maybe also wrong and just listen a little bit because I hate these words. We did it every time like that. But I will use them as well later on because there are things that I understand because I'm doing it like that because I did it every time like that, even if it's stupid. If out of, let's put it like that, out of a job of, I think it was €7,500 installation of wood floor, it became a 35,000 insurance job. Simply, he put it inside, mix it with water, also windows down to the bottom. In winter, in summer, yes, we can also have some warm summer in Germany, and now more than ever. And then it simply, explode is the wrong word. It's expand at one point. If it cannot expand, it will explode, which means walls were already ready. The windows were ready for sure. Ceiling, I don't know, they had this glossy ceilings that you have to, expensive one. Long story short, like I mentioned, €7.5 became a 35,000 euro job for the installer or for the insurance. Just because we did it like every time we did it. So don't mix it with water. It's not needed. You don't get nothing more. You got actually more issues if you would mix it with water. And like I said, work out of an upright position. It's just right now for the demo that I'm working on my knees. But there is nothing, how can I say, needed to go on your knees because application would be really like a normal primer, nothing specific. Once again, the magic will happen if you run it like that in the product itself. So that's what you need. You don't need really a lot of the product. And once again, from my view of point is simply the curing time and the consumption. Half an hour more or less per coat and do the next step, which means direct installation, especially of wood floors, or LVTs, vinyl sheets. And if a leveling compound is needed, like I'm so happy that all of you will recommend a leveling compound pre your installation, we have to do a second step. But before of that, I also want to show you what will happen if you apply too much. You will see it definitely. So don't do it like that on a job site. What will happen if you apply too much? You will simply get foaming, and then your moisture barrier is not close. Not so bad. You can also give them a 60 or 80 sanding with a buffer, clean vacuum, and put another coat, and then you are safe. But try to avoid this because it's just simply wasted money. And I think that nobody really wants to throw money away through the window. Give it better to me. I can do something good with that money if you want to waste money. So how long did the PU280 need to cure per coat? She is like at school. The girls in the first row, they every time know the best answer, better than everybody else. Great, correct. Moisture blocking up to 98%. Just application by roller. You can also smell if you want.
No, we smell it from there.
What do you smell? There is nothing to smell from there. You don't smell anything.
Was it lunch? Sorry, guys.
So you cannot smell it? You want to smell again? Well, you like it and later on and you want to take it with you home. So you see there is actually almost no smell.
Is there no smell?
You want to smell? So what smell did you smell? It was just the lunch, yeah?